now that we're far enough in 2024, we can give up on the superfluous resolutions that you've made, like being a better person or getting in shape, and just focus on the guitar part. So today we're talking about getting away from open chords, but doing the same stuff in the same key with stuff that is a lot more fun to play, a lot more engaging, and we can move everything around in any key. All right, so we're gonna do this in the supplemental people's key, the key of C. The real people's key is the key of G. We're gonna do this in the key of C, and we're gonna do that progression that everybody knows, which is C major to G major to A minor to F major. It's like that one chord progression. Like you've seen the annoying YouTube videos like, play 100 songs with this one stupid chord progression. But we're gonna make it cool. It's not gonna be annoying like those dumb YouTube videos. This is gonna be a cool guy YouTube video, all right? So first we're gonna replace some of these chords with extended chords of the same class. What that means is instead of playing C major, like this, which you've done a million times and you're getting bored of, quite frankly, we're gonna do it like this, okay? C major 7 in the classiest position, the 3rd to the 5th fret. The 4th and 5th fret might be uncharted territory for you, but here we go. This is actually just as easy as playing a C major open chord. In fact, probably a little easier because you don't have to stretch as far. It's pointer finger, 3rd fret on the A string, ring finger 5th fret on the D string, middle finger 4th fret on the G string, pinky 5th fret on the B string. Now you can get this open E on top if you want. Not necessary. I'm playing this finger style because you can add a little more panache, get that hit, right? So we're gonna go from this to a G chord, but we're not gonna do the people's G chord. We're gonna do the same position right here. Now, a lot of you are thinking like, this is a bar chord, you've tricked me, I've already been tricked 2 minutes into this video. This isn't a bar chord, look, it's actually the 3rd fret on the E string, 5th fret on A and D, middle finger, G, and that's where it ends. You can leave the top 2 strings open, look at that, right there. Leave it open, let it ring out. Or just use your fingers or your pick or whatever and just focus on those bottom 4 strings, right? The thing about guitar playing that like a lot of people don't realize at first, myself included, is you don't have to play all the strings. You can get selective of it and then just kind of, focus on maybe sounds and parts that you want to hit. So from here to here, also too, I like getting that B in there because again, that's the same thing as having an open B here, but now we're doing it in a way that is gonna line up with a lesson I taught a couple days ago about using the minor pentatonic scale along with your chords, which we're gonna get to in a second, but not quite yet. All right, so stick with me. We got C to G, which doesn't sound so different from C to G, but these are alternatives, right? C major 7 to G major. Now here's the trick. If you've followed me for a while, you know that minor 11 chords are the secret sauce that every guitar player needs to know. Sounds like a great title to a YouTube clickbait video. The secret sauce right here. Minor 11, all right? Middle finger on the A, on the E string, which is the 5th fret. We're skipping the A string, or you can leave it open if you want, but we're getting ring finger and pinky on the 5th fret of the D and the G string. So this is a minor 7 chord, minor 11 chord, secret sauce right there. 3rd fret of the B string. Okay, now the nice thing about this shape is look at like my hand, right? There's the 1 chord, C major, the 5 chord, G major, the 6 chord, A minor. There's not a lot of movement there, right? I mean, especially if you just do the regular minor 7, whereas here, it's so much. Why do we make people do so much in the beginning? We're changing the game, rewriting all the rules. C major 7, G major with that open string on top, A minor 11. It already sounds so much snappier. And now it's like, oh, that F major bar chord is coming. No, it's not. I mean, you could use that same shape for the G and then just have an open F, but then an open F with the B, and it sounds a little dodgy. Which again, if that's your vibe, no judgment. You know what I mean? We're just here vibing. However weird you want to make it, it's okay with me. But we're gonna make it major 7 because that's just what I love to do. So pointer finger, 1st fret on the low E string, and then you're making an A minor with your other fingers, right? You can make it like this. Here's A minor. Make it A minor without your pointer finger. You end up going ring finger 2D, pinky 2G, middle finger 1B, and then wrap your pointer finger there. Again, way easier, but also adds a perspective. Like, oh, an F major 7 is really an F underneath an A minor chord, right? All this stuff will start making a lot more sense, especially if you sign up for my Patreon. Real quick note about the Patreon. I don't do a great job of plugging this, but it's not like your typical YouTuber Patreon where it's like, you get access to my videos 53 minutes early if you just give me free money. No, that's stupid. The Patreon is actually just a way for me to like have an entire comprehensive list of lessons from your very first guitar lesson. Hundreds of lessons deep. So it's a lot of stuff. You can cancel after 1 month. Like if you want to brush up on your theory, it's a great way to do that. Try it for a month, cancel it. It's fine. I'm not going to be mad if you cancel. I'm happy that you're learning. Check out the Patreon, link in the description. Also, a full set list of songs on there and how I play them to get live gigs is on there too. So get it. Patreon, amazing. Learn all the music theory and the guitar exercises that you want. But here we go. So now we've got C major, 7, to G, to A minor, 11, to F major, 7, instead of, which sounds great, open chords. I'm not mad at you, you know, you're doing great, but maybe you're just kind of a little bored with that. And of course I'm playing with more panache to get my point across, obviously. Now, the last thing we're gonna do before we start spicing it up with lead notes is we're gonna replace that last chord, that F major chord, with another F major chord. But guess what? You already know it. It's that first chord. This shape is just a major 7 shape that happens to be C major. We can move this to the 8th fret, where the 8th fret on the A string is an F, and now it's an F major 7 chord. So this chord and this chord are the same thing, but guess what? They have a totally different vibe. So what I think sounds really cool is replacing the 4th chord in any progression with another voicing of that same chord, and then you get like a lot more movement and vibe. For example, C, A minor. Second time around, see how it kind of like adds a little bit of variety? And as you know, variety is the spice of life. I don't know if I agree with that. I feel like spice is actually the spice of life, but variety is good to have too. Let's start adding some cool lead stuff to it. Why not? If you watched that video I did a few days ago, which I'll link in the description, why not? It's using the minor pentatonic to spice things up. Now I just can't get the word spice out of my head. But minor pentatonic in A minor or C major, same difference, which you would know that if you signed up for the Patreon, is 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. So we can use these like middle 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7 to spice any of these things up. So what we could do is add space to it and then fill that space with these notes in any kind of way. For example, C, G, A, F. Then maybe the next time, and again, that was kind of fast, but because I just had a giant cold brew coffee, so I'm talking at warp speed, which everybody loves in a beginner to intermediate guitar video, right? But think of just like, all right, maybe if I want to count it, play with a backing track. That's really cool. Play with a metronome if you want. Backing tracks are far superior. Or just a drum machine, just a drum loop is way better than a metronome in my opinion. Maybe just strum the C chord and then get into the 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7 ADG hot zone. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and G, 2, 3, and 4, and A, 2, 3, and 4, and 2. In fact, that's a good exercise. Maybe let's just take this 5, 7, 5, 7 as the 3 and 4 and. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, and G, 2, 3, and 4, and A, 2, 3, and 4, and F, 2, 3, and 4, and again. Does this sound super musical? Not really, but I think getting in the vibe of chord into a shape really sets yourself up. Or And then once you kind of get in just the vibe of like, all right, you know, I've got this chord and I can jump into this spot fairly quickly, right? And again, that's what minor pentatonic is great, because you can just line your lead finger, your pointer finger up with anything, and then you're like, all right, there it is, 5th fret, anything goes, right? Talk about judgment-free zone. Minor pentatonic does not judge. You can rip it in country, you can rip it in hip-hop, you can rip it in bluegrass, always does the trick, right? And there's one spot that it does the trick better than anywhere else, though, and that's on my Patreon page. So check that out. In the meantime, we're gonna move this entire thing. This is really just a 1, 5, 6, 4 progression. Why that is because in the key of C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, those are the 7 notes. 1, C, C, D, E, F, G, 5, 1 to 5, C to G, 6, A comes after G in the musical alphabet, not the real alphabet, 6, and then 4, C, D, E, F. So 1, 5, 6, 4. Now, if you see this as like the root notes, you're going 3A, 3E, 5E, 1E. This is kind of like the root note street map and how you can make any key here, right? The great thing is, because we're not using open chords, we can do this anywhere. So let's do the whole thing in the key of E. All I'm starting on E, and you can learn all the notes 1, 5, 6, 5, 4 in this key, or you can just take any single root note and be like, I'm just gonna find like, all right, where's the E flat or a D sharp? It's like, all right, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, 6th fret. I don't even have to know any of the other notes, any of the other chords. If this is my home bass, everything moves in parallel to that. I don't have to know what the relative minor is in this key. All I have to know is, it's like, all right, there it is. There's my minor pentatonic, because I always know it's 2 frets down from where I start this major 7 chord. So, super movable, super fun. I think it's just a more fun way to do it. You can like extended chords or not like extended chords, but it definitely does kind of open up a little bit of your ear and how you hear things. And I think it's a perfect way to make connections between stuff that you'll find useful no matter what genre you play in. So thank you for watching. Thank you for signing up for the Patreon. I'll talk to you guys soon.